Yeah, so the northern style is basically a military style, but the southern styles are like folk styles, or what we call Nadan Kalari, or folk schools. So there are different regional styles which comes under that banner. Some are like limited to area, some are like practiced by a particular group or caste. So the main difference that we can see in these kind of styles is that these are all like empty hand systems with high stance, and the weapons used are also like primarily different type of stuff. So nowadays, but southern schools, they have copied a lot of weapons from the northern school, but generally these are like empty hand systems. So their curriculum is like you learn different empty hand forms, you learn how to fight against knife, staff, sword, and various different weapons. And we do have like sparring forms with empty hand sparring forms. In the northern style, the weapons are actually trained as sparring forms. In southern, it's one person will be attacking with the weapon, the other person will be defending empty-handed. So the main concept of southern style is chuvadu and adavu. Chuvadu means patterns or footwork patterns. So the patterns are like using different geometrical shapes. The basic one is like a cross stepping. So you step forward, you turn, you step there, then you go to the next direction, another direction. This is called like single step. So another one is like in a square. So you go forward, step here, okay, and there will be like triangles. There will be like in an angle where you move forward, go this side, move forward, side, move forward, side, or in a triangle way. So these are steps, but steps are not practiced just like steps. You add combinations or hand movements into it. So those movements are called adavu. Adavu means technique or trick, or basically technique. You can translate it as techniques. So the basic one would be, that's a basic combination that almost all schools practice. So if I do the same combination in the pattern I showed first, is so that's the first combination in that cross pattern. So same combination can be done in a different pattern. So that would be
it's much simpler and sort of more natural movement, I suppose, than the northern ones. Yeah.
See, northern style, the power generation is through that shape, and you're using that body's structure to apply that strike. But in most of the regional styles, the power is generated by turning the hip. So from that simple move, we add more techniques into that combinations. Like for example, going forward, coming back with a punch and a kick, kind of thing. When we do it with the elbow, we, instead of full arm strike, becomes with the elbow. So, and the same combination can be combined with elbow and strike. So it teaches you, like, if you are in a long range, you can go into a short range, or you are short range and the opponent moves away, you can strike. So it teaches that kind of concept. And again, same thing can be done with a staff, a stick, small stick. So you block. So this is more like it evolves into from simple to complex kind of.
It sort of seems like the southern styles may be more focused on developing fast combat skills.
Yes,
And
exactly.
the northern ones are much more
time
consuming and much more intense on the body.
Yeah, that's one theory, though we can't, like, establish with solid evidence. There is a theory that the northern system, the curriculum is actually designed for 12 years. A student actually enters the Kalari to learn fight at the age of 7, and he graduates by the time he's an adult, so that he can enroll in the military kind of thing. So it's more like because it's a military style, it's like designed to develop soldiers in a period of 12 years. So that the curriculum is designed in that way. It is designed for young people to develop skills. So nowadays people find older people find it difficult to get all the jumps and structures. The southern style, that the one I showed, is from the border region, and one theory is that a lot of attacks happen through that side where this style is practiced. So this style is designed in a way that you learn empty hand, and when there is a war or something, you can just use swords or some weapons and use the same technique to can be applied with weapons.
So as someone who's grown up practicing Indian martial arts but also practiced a lot of Chinese martial arts, what do you think about the statement that, or the idea that Chinese martial arts come from Indian martial arts? I mean, obviously there's the whole sort of fable of Bodhidharma coming to China and teaching the Shaolin monks.
For some people, it's a big joke. For some people, it's it's pride. They'll be like claiming their martial art to be the oldest and mother of martial arts and all those things. But people, what I personally think, people are thinking in a modern context where we only see few pockets of martial arts surviving here and there. So if you go back like 200 years or 300 years, the whole world was fighting with swords and traditional weapons, which are martial arts in the way we define martial arts. So cultures like India and China, which are neighbors, and historically, we traded. There were Chinese settlements in Kerala where Kalaripayattu is practiced. Chinese ships frequented before the arrival of Portuguese, and during the Chola period and all, in Fujian there was Chinese Indian settlements, trade settlements. So people are focused more on Bodhidharma's story, and again, if you look at academic history and look at the evidence, a lot of people have debunked Bodhidharma's story. But as a practitioner, I see a lot of similarities which are beyond just coincidence. Like, we all human beings move alike, but when we organize knowledge, we form very unique structures and I don't know how do you say. For example, like the art of pressure points. So it has a very similar kind of concepts, even in numbers, even in superstitions, like no touch stuff, or uh, pressure points becoming more effective in certain time of the day. So these kind of things are like very common, and it shows that there was exchange, but it's very hard to find out where it all started or who taught whom and all. In Kerala, where there's Kalaripayattu, we definitely have like Chinese influence. There are certain styles which are called Chinedi, which means Chinese striking, which which is like a regional style of Kalari nowadays. Uh, I mean, some people say that's not Chinese. Uh, that's a modern name given by some, not very historically accurate. But we have evidences of foreign influence in Kalari, and in China, we have like spread of Buddhism from India, and people actually traveled there. They might have, or I mean, I'm sure that they definitely shared knowledge in the field of medicine, um, not just religion, medicine, maybe martial arts, maybe other health, breathing kind of exercises. Like when we compare like practices like yoga and qigong, we see certain similarities. It's not just coincidence, but it is not. We don't have any evidence to say that it one thing is the root, and everything came from there. Uh, though people love to believe that, it gives them, makes them happy that their culture is the best and their knowledge is the root of everything. But basically, I don't care too much about this, because for me, every culture, every nation, everyone fought with swords and shields and spears and grappling, and it's all over the world. Like we can't say that this particular style or this particular place is the cradle of all martial arts or culture. Uh, it seems like that because it's a kind of delusion, like because we only see martial arts in only in particular places now, and we think that, oh, that place has some specialty. But going back like 200 300 years ago, everywhere in India people practiced similar forms of martial arts, and they all died out, due to certain social circumstances. Some survived. So that's what I think. As a practitioner, it's not like I'm like really interested in history and mythology and everything. And as a practitioner, that's what I feel. They definitely had exchanges, but it's too old to find out who taught whom and what and everything.